So going into this season, no one was really giving the 76ers a chance to win the East. Obviously, the Bucks had acquired Dame, and the Celtics had acquired both Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis. The 76ers had the Harden situation going on, and it was like the third year in a row of them being knocked out in the second round, so no one was really giving them any sort of chance.
Yeah, and fast forward to today, 76ers are at the top of the East, Harden's gone, Maxi's playing like an all-star, and Embiid's having another MVP season.
Before we start talking about the Philadelphia 76ers, please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on any new videos. Real quick, let's just go over last year to refresh your memory. Embiid wins MVP finally. Harden leads the league in assists per game. And again, it was still kind of the Bucks were favored, the Celtics were favored, but the 76ers had an outside chance. They swept the Nets in the first round. But of course, Embiid got injured in the playoffs because it's what he does every year. Even with that happening though, they go up 3-2 against the Celtics, and Embiid and Harden just proceeded to absolutely disappear.
I was going to say, Embiid and Harden, call them Danny Phantom because they went ghost.
Right.
Just vanished.
Tatum balled out in that game 6.
Dropped 50 in game 7.
Yeah, the Celtics just blew them out in game 7. So going into the offseason, it was like, is Harden gonna resign? And were they finally gonna fire Doc? Well, it took them 2 days to fire Doc.
Arguably 2 days too long.
Right.
They should have Lane Kiffined him, leave him on the tarmac in Boston.
It was 2 years too long. Like, they should have never hired him to begin with. They held on to him for way too long, but they finally fired him. They hired Nick Nurse, which I think was kind of an under the radar coaching hire. Obviously, he'd won a title before. He's known as a great X's and O's head coach, and he can actually make adjustments, unlike Doc Rivers.
Yeah, he had kind of worn out his welcome in Toronto, though.
He
So
did.
I feel like a lot of people were kind of just like, it's kind of a whatever hire. Although, when fan bases are always lukewarm on a hire, my response is always like, okay, who are you expecting?
Right.
Like, who's the grand slam coaching hire you wanted?
Then we get the report right before free agency begins that Harden would actually opt into his contract, but he was going to opt in so the 76ers could explore trade options. Big problem with that, though, is who the hell were they going to trade him to? Because the only real bidder was the Clippers.
Well, yeah, to trade someone has to want to trade for that player.
That is...
No one wanted to trade for James Harden.
Yeah, so that's going on. They're trying to find a trade partner. In the meantime, they signed Patrick Beverly to a 1-year deal. They matched Paul Reed's offer sheet from the Jazz. They signed Kelly Oubre to a 1-year deal. And they signed Mo Bamba to a 1-year deal. Kind of just whatever moves, like fine. There's not much to really say about those.
Yeah, maybe this is just a me problem, but I can just never take a team seriously that signs Patrick Beverly.
There was some rumors about them acquiring Dame, but the report was they were unwilling to give up Maxey in a potential trade.
Smart decision.
Very smart decision.
Very, very smart. I will say about like the Dame rumors, these have been around for years at this point. Like I remember a couple years ago, there was a report that like Daryl Morey covets Damian Lillard or something like that. I'm like, well, you can covet him all you want, Daryl. Your offer is lackluster to say the least.
Yeah, you're not getting them.
Then, of course, we had the Harden situation, and we got a video out of this, so appreciate you, James. But just to recap, in mid-August, there were reports the 76ers had broken off trade talks for Harden because they just weren't getting the offers that they wanted. Harden was understandably a little bit pissed by this, so on his trip to China, he said Daryl Morey was a liar, and he would never be part of an organization he was part of, which, I mean, in terms of, like, power plays by a player to try to get what they want, like, it doesn't get much better than that. That's, like, scorched earth right there.
Like we said, there was just no one really bidding for Harden, so they still had trouble trading him. He didn't show up to media day. He missed parts of training camp. And there was the reports coming out that he was basically going to make the situation there hell until they traded him.
Going into the year, though, I don't think anyone had Philadelphia winning the East. Like, it was Milwaukee and Boston are, like, in tier 1, and then, like, tier 2, it's the Heat, the Knicks, the Cavs, and, like, maybe the 76ers, but, like, they were very clearly in most people's minds, I think, in, like, that second tier of Eastern Conference teams.
Yeah, they had the Harden situation going on, which was bad enough, and then, like we said, every single year they're out in the second round, so how can you take this team seriously?
You can't.
They start the season against the Bucks. They go down 19 at one point in the second quarter, things aren't looking good, but they come all the way back in the third quarter. Then they're up late in this game, they're up 5, and Embiid had that weird ass like flick pass that we watched it back in slow motion. We're like, is he trying to pass this ball to Maxey?
Can't figure it out.
Cannot figure it out. Still one of the funniest plays I've seen the entire year, but it might have cost them the game.
It's such a dumb play to make in such a crucial moment. Like, if he makes this play with 7 minutes to go in the second quarter, it's like, okay, whatever. This is like coming down to the wire. They're up 5. This is a huge possession, and he just tries to slap the ball to his teammate. Like, what are you thinking, man?
Who knows? They ended up losing the game by 1. Dame closed it out in his Bucks debut, but it wasn't really a bad look. I mean, you're playing the Bucks on the road. It's the new look Bucks with Dame. You have the Harden situation going on, so whatever. Maxey still played great. You're not panicking yet, especially when you beat the Raptors in the second game. And then during their home opener, James Harden showed up. He was on the bench, and he was looking really happy to be there. So kind of surprisingly.
I will say, James Harden, if he's out of the league in a couple years or whatever he decides to retire, he needs to take up acting. He is phenomenal at looking like he's happy when he's either pissed or miserable.
He probably did know a trade was coming, and that's why he was so happy, because it only took 2 days for him to get sent to the Clippers after that. We have another video about that situation, and I will say in that video, I think we were a little bit too harsh on what the 76ers got back. They got back Nick Batum, Covington, and Marcus Morris as players. They got a 2029 unprotected first-round pick from the Clippers and a 2026 first-round pick from the Thunder. While those players aren't great, they're pretty washed up. They are a bit better on the perimeter defense to guard guys like Tatum, but mainly it's, can they use those expiring contracts and some picks to trade for an all-star or an all-star level play?
I mean, from our perspective, chalk a little bit of it up to trauma, having experienced life with Nick Batum and Robert Covington through various years. So, chalk a little bit of it up to that. Also, like, I don't think we really thought about, like, are the 76ers going to get better just by getting rid of James Harden? Is this addition by subtraction? Because so far, they look way better without him.
Yeah, so far easily, and the Clippers look like absolute
They're down 30 right now to Dallas.
Yeah, that 2029 first round pick, unprotected. It's looking like a pretty good asset.
Oh, that's going to be a great pick.
After the trade went down, they beat the Raptors, the Suns, and Wizards. Not the toughest schedule, but still, you're getting wins and beat against the Wizards. How about that game? 48 points, 10 to 10 in the third quarter. I get it's the Wizards, but he balled out. That was crazy.
But it is the Wizards.
It is the Wizards, yeah.
They're bad.
They are really bad.
They did, though, follow that up with a statement win over the Boston Celtics this past Wednesday. Embiid had 27, Maxey had 25. They get a 3-point win over one of the teams that's going to be gunning for them in the Eastern Conference playoffs. They follow that up with a win over the Pistons tonight. It's Friday night when we're recording this. Embiid and Maxey once again are great. Embiid's got 33, Maxey gets 29. They got another game against the Pacers on Sunday. Like I said, we're recording this video on Friday, but either way, win or lose, they're going to be the top seed in the East on Monday. Didn't expect it at all.
Yeah, I don't think anyone expected 3 weeks into the season for the 76ers to be top of the East. Not the Heat who made the finals, not the Bucks who got Dame, not the Celtics who have that new starting five. It's the Philadelphia 76ers.
I expected them to be like 4-7, and the Embiid trade rumors are going to be picking up steam.
That's what I thought too.
That's really what I thought. I thought I was going to have to listen to you being insufferable about Embiid going to the Knicks. So you know what? They have made my weeks a lot better.
So let's talk about why they're playing so well. First of all, obviously, Joel Embiid is having another MVP caliber season. He gets a lot of hate because he still hasn't been in the conference finals, and deservingly so, but we do got to give him credit. For the fourth year in a row, it's him and Jokic battling it out for MVP.
I mean, 32, 11, and 5, like, from a big man in the modern NBA, you can't do much better than that.
Pretty damn good. And how about Tyrese Maxey? The dude is playing like an all-star. I always heard the 76ers were super high on this guy. I thought he could be decent. I didn't even ever think he'd be this good. He's putting up 26 a game. He's shooting the lights out. He's definitely going to be an all-star if he keeps playing like this. And he's got an outside shot to make an all-NBA team at this point.
I mean, yeah, maybe. I never got the Maxey hype. I was just like, oh, he's just another scoring guard, in the Eastern Conference. But you know what? Like, he is playing like a legit number 2 for a championship team. How about f***ing Kelly Oubre, though?
Right.
Who the hell saw this coming? I don't think Kelly Oubre saw this coming.
No, he didn't. He's cooled off a little bit, but still, to start the year, just balling the hell out. They've thrown him into the starting lineup now. What a pickup for them. Maybe the best under-the-radar signing the entire offseason.
Also, you got Tobias Harris. It seems like has finally given them consistent minutes. I know Tobias Harris has been like maybe the sorest point for Philadelphia 76ers fans over the year, because like the dude just makes you tear your hair out with how inconsistent he is. But you know what? It's a contract year for him, and he's been playing really good.
Also, believe it or not, the chemistry has been much better without Harden. Joel Embiid recently had a quote saying, no one has an ego on this team. Wonder who he was talking about or why he said that right after Harden got traded.
I'll tell you, I'll never get tired of like petty shots by star players at other star players that just leave their team.
It's amazing.
I love it. It's so great. Like, Harden leaves the team, next interview, Embiid's just like, yeah, no one's got an ego on this team. And I was like, I wonder who he was talking about. Can you guess, guys?
And then you got the new head coach, Nick Nurse. You actually have a head coach who can make adjustments. It's a pretty useful skill in the modern NBA, I'd say.
So the big question is, can the 76ers win the East? Even though they're at the top of the conference right now, I still don't think anyone really sees them as the favorites over the Celtics or the Bucks. I mean, yes, the 76ers won their most recent matchup with the Celtics, but I'm taking the Celtics 10 times out of 10 to beat the Sixers.
Yeah, I'm taking the Celtics right now to win the East. Number 2 would be the Bucks with Dame and Giannis. We'll see if they can get some more perimeter defense and if Dame and Giannis can kind of gel together a bit more. But I will say Philly does have matchup problems for both teams. You have the Celtics. They don't really have a lot of interior defense to guard Embiid. I mean, to start the game on Wednesday, they had Drew Holiday on him. I know Drew is good on defense, but I don't know if he's going to be able to guard Embiid over a 7-game series.
I mean, they do have Embiid's playoff nemesis in Al Horford.
That is true.
So
that is true.
If anyone can do it, Al can do it.
Then for the Bucks, they have no perimeter defense to guard Maxey. I don't know if you saw that clip of Malik Beasley guarding Tyrese Halliburton, but he literally just froze guarding him. And we watched Dame for what, like 11 years, 10 years. The dude sucks on defense. It's just straight up.
Couldn't guard me if his life depended on it.
The other main thing is this 76ers roster is probably not done. They have those picks. They have those expiring contracts. The problem is, who is the needle mover they could trade for? The players I've seen are Levine, Pascal Siakam. That's probably the best fit out there. DeMar DeRozan, Jeremy Grant. I don't really know if there's like a huge superstar they could trade for. Maybe something will pop up, but they could at least acquire like an all-star level player, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, they could get an all-star level player. I feel like we kind of do this every season, though. We're like, oh, there's no needle mover player available right now. Well, yeah, we're 8 games into the season. Like, mid-season, maybe someone comes up, but of that list, I would agree. I think Siakam is probably the best fit, probably improves them by the most. But even if they get Siakam, like, does that push them ahead of Boston and ahead of Milwaukee? Like, I don't think so. And when it comes to Embiid finally making his first conference finals, I don't think he's gonna do it. Like, I'm sorry, he's just disappointed me so many times that I can't buy into him playing well into the playoffs unless he actually does it. It's not like he's 23 and this is his 3rd playoff appearance. It's like, oh, can he take that step? Maybe now get to a conference finals. Like, he's had chances after chances.
I agree. I don't think they're making the conference finals. I know we just hyped him up for this entire video,
but they suck.
Okay, that's not true. I don't think they'll make the conference finals, but I gotta give them some credit. They're starting out hot. Maxey's balling out, and we'll see what they can do come trade deadline.
So really quickly, we said we would record this on Friday, and we recorded most of it on Friday, but we had to pop back in the booth because apparently on Saturday night, Kelly Oubre was hit by a car? I mean, I was at the Oregon USC game and I saw a text come through from you that was like, yeah, Kelly Oubre got hit by a car, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, one of the weirdest injury headlines I've ever heard. We were just hyping him up. He had such a great start to the season.
He played so well.
Yeah, I feel pretty bad because he got broken ribs. He had apparently cuts and bruises, and they don't know a timetable at the moment, but what Sham said is he's expected to miss significant time, which I'm assuming is a few months.
This just sucks. Kelly, wherever you are, you're not watching this video, but if you are, get better, my friend.
So what do you guys think? Are you picking the Philadelphia 76ers to win the East?
No.
Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving a like, and hey, while you're here, check out some of our other content as well. And don't forget to subscribe to Synthetic Sports.